Good evening. I'd like to call the regular meeting of the Moose Lake City Council to order for September 13th. First, we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Is there any additions or changes to the agenda? Is there a motion to approve the
So
agenda?
move. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Consent agenda. First, we have the minutes from the August 9th, 2017 City Council meeting. Then we have the financial reports for the city accounts payable for September 2017, city financial statements for August 2017, and the liquor store profit and loss statement for August 2017. Is there any questions on any of those? Is there a motion to accept the consent agenda as written?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'd like to we're going to have an open public hearing at this time, so I'll call for a motion to open that meeting.
Move that we go to an open public hearing.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Public comment. I think I'll refer to the city administrator.
Yeah, just to open it up, starting on page 29 of your packet, page 30, 31, there's a map down below. Page 34 and 35 and 36 have some maps. This is on the corner of Knollwood Drive. The city of Moose Lake owns a right-of-way section that is outside of the road right-of-way that we also own. This right-of-way is just kind of stands by itself over there. It's an area that we plow snow into, and the landowners approached the city and requesting a couple things, but this is the one that worked out the best for everyone, we thought, was to vacate this particular right-of-way. We met with the landowners to discuss how best to split the parcel, and also in talking with the straight line surveying, this was also their suggestion as well, was just to continue one of the diagonal lines that divides the two property owners that this vacation is subject to, and just continue that line down. Both of the property owners agreed, yeah, we can take any public comment. One of the property owners is here. I don't know if they wanted to speak or not, but...
Sir, would you like to speak? If you would like to speak, could you have stepped up to the podium and state your name?
Michael Fromke, and my wife Paula, we live at 113 Knollwood Drive, and that's part of the process here that you're looking at. And the only thing that I'd like to say is that I support it because it would provide a lot more easier access to our property without having that land. Provide us with the opportunity to maintain it and actually make it look presentable and part of the land property and blend into what we're doing there. And that's it. So, and I've spoke with my neighbor, and I don't know if he brought anything forward, Mr. Garvey, and he's in support of this also. That's all I got to say.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If there is no other public comment, I'd like to have a motion to close the...
So move to close the meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Is there any discussion amongst the city on this vacation of the right-of-way?
It's pretty straightforward to me. I feel I so move that we support Resolution 170901 for the vacating the property right away.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That has passed. Next, we have the 2018 budget presentation, which I will turn over to the city administrator.
Starting on page 37 is where the presentation begins. This is a letter from the Carleton County Auditor. Page 38 is what we need to submit back to them, which is our initial levy, which is where the City Council of Moose Lake sets the levy. They can go lower from that in the final Truth and Taxation meeting, but they cannot go higher than what is set tonight. The second page, which is page 39, is setting the public hearing date for the Truth and Taxation. That will be December 13th, 2017, but we will need to have you guys make a motion for that. Page 40 is the beginning of the presentation, which I think we will show. Okay. So starting with the revenues, general property taxes as proposed in this budget, just the general portion would be $524,244. Sales tax will begin in 2018. We will budget for it beginning in 2018 at $125,000 per year. The funding for sales tax is restricted to roads and utility improvements related to roads, parks and trail system, as well as any capital projects at the Riverside Arena. Local government aid was increased in the last legislative session by $36,169. And then the transfer from Power and Light remains the same. For expenditures, 2018 is an election year, so this adds the election budget back in to pay for election judges and training and all of that. The city administrator's department is fully staffed for the entire year, or planned for the entire year. The police department, in combining the overtime, part-time wages, and overtime part-time wages, is decreased by 4.5%. Contractual wage increases are not included. The Teamsters agreement comes up. It ends December 31st of this year, so we will be working on that in between now and the Truth and Taxation meeting. The parks budget also includes garbage back into the budget. There was some mix-up with the garbage company that this corrects and we'll be able to move forward with. Just department, looking at each department, most all departments are remaining the same. The biggest difference in each department that shows increases is health insurance costs. Health insurance is sure to increase in 2018. We just don't know the dollar amount yet. Included in this budget is a 10% increase to health insurance. It could be more, it could be less, but that is what we are currently projecting it to be. And this is just the second slide that shows the rest of the general fund departments. The total expenditures for the year are projected to be $45,646 more than last year. For capital improvement projects for the next year, each department worked with myself to create kind of a capital improvement list for next year. The big one for the police department is their new Zerker systems. Not just the software, but also the equipment that goes with that project. The Public Works Department is projected to get a new Public Works truck, a trailer for the skid steer that was purchased this year, some tools. Now that we have the blacktop trailer, we have some additional needs for storing material, and this will create a materials shed down by the shop, and then some upgrades at the facility. For Parks and Rec and down at the campground, some of the doors are wearing down, and this includes new doors for the bathrooms down there, a couple added dock sections that will reach a little bit further out into the lake and give better access for boaters, improving some of the roads that are down there with added gravel and some miscellaneous tools and items for the campground. The arena has some improvements to the sound system, heater for the press box, tables and chairs, and traffic barriers. And then also just throughout the community, we're looking at new holiday lights that are hung from the light poles, as well as some new and additional community banners that we can hang through the downtown or through Arrowhead Lane, and just make it look nice. This is the capital improvement by department. Not a lot of changes. Riverside Arena is down a little bit. The community center was up a little bit. As a whole, the capital improvement list stayed pretty comparative to last year. Just a summary, the net income that's projected for next year is $147,350, but that does include $125,000 from sales tax. So because that is restricted, it is listed under the general fund, but it is not free to be used as outside of the things that I listed before. What is really left is about $22,350 of net income without the sales tax. There are some items that are left to be figured out in the coming months. Wage increases, including the police department's union agreement, health insurance, as I talked about before. There's a 10% increase included, but the quotes that we've got already, if we were to start December 1st, look a bit higher than that even. So that is yet to be determined. And then any items that come up between now and December. This just gives an idea of how we compare to some of our neighboring communities that are both neighboring and roughly the same size. So comparing Moose Lake to Barnum, Carlton, and Proctor, the property taxes are lower in Moose Lake. And Willow River and Renshaw, the property taxes are a little bit lower than in Moose Lake. This is exactly identical to last year. The dollar amounts may have changed a little bit, but the same communities are lower and higher compared to Moose Lake. This just gives an idea of the historical levy that has been set in Moose Lake. It also shows the taxable and non-taxable value within Moose Lake. There wasn't much of a change in the value of Moose Lake. It seems as though one building was added, another building was torn down. But the non-taxable in Moose Lake still accounts for a little over 70% of the value. This just gives an idea of what some different increases might look like to the levy. Some of the additional funds that the city has are three debt service accounts now, or funds now, two of which are existing and one will be new next year. This is the 2011 A bond, which includes $40,333 worth of property taxes as well. The 2014 A bond, this is the Park Place Drive bond. We will begin levying $10,000 in 2018 to go towards this bond as well. The water fund shows a net loss of $1,238. There's no decision that's needed to be made tonight on the water, sewer, DMV, or liquor, but my suggestion right now is that the City Council looks at a 3% rate increase for the water fund. The sewer fund currently has a net loss or projected net loss of $73,157. This one's a little bit odd. It shows a large net loss, but the fund balance reserves are adequate for this particular fund to run at a loss for a few years, not at this rate, which is why I'm suggesting a 3% rate increase for sewer as well. But a net loss in the sewer fund is not as big of a problem as the water fund. For water and sewer capital improvement, the water department will be looking at cleaning the water tower. There are 2 lift station cleanings for the sewer fund next year as opposed to just 1. And we will be replacing the pumps at the Knollwood and Campground lift stations. Next year, we will also look into replacing the 2 wells in the well house as well. In the liquor fund, there are some higher purchases and sales. This past year, we had the point-of-sale system, and that's been removed out of the budget. There's some higher credit card processing fees, and health insurance plays a large role in this fund as well. Still strong, not quite as high as 2017. The DMV fund, again, health insurance plays a role in this one. There's some additional revenue and expenses from any additional activity that comes into the DMV. This one, again, similar to our parks and our trails and gardens and things like that. This is a service to our community. It's not something that we want to see the net loss continue to grow, but it is something that the council feels is important to our community. Tonight, there needs to be motions on the initial levy dollar amount and the date and time of the truth in taxation public hearing. In December, we will set the final levy dollar amount as well as the revenue and expenditure dollar amounts for each enterprise fund. Any questions that anybody has from the public, the budget will certainly be available, as well as the presentation in City Hall. I'd be more than happy to sit down and talk with anybody about it. Any questions from the council?
None.
Reviewed it already, and it looks like you did a very good job, Tim. Thank you.
Okay, we'll need to have a motion to set the initial City of Moose Lake's levy dollar amount.
The dollar amount included in this budget, just in case for the motion, is $574,577. And that includes the debt service ones as well.
Make a motion that our levy dollar amount be $574,577.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any objection? Next, we'll need to set the date and time of the truth in taxation public hearing.
December 13th.
That's December 13th at 6:30.
I so move that we have our truth and of taxation meeting at December
13th.
13th.
At 6:30.
2017. Okay.
Is there a
Second
second?
that.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Objection? Then we'll need a motion for the final City of Moose Lake's levy dollar amount.
Nope, we'll do that one.
Nope,
in
we'll do that one
December.
later.
Yep, so we'll go to
Excuse me.
public comment.
Okay. Next on the agenda is a public comment. We'd like to ask anybody who would like to make any public comments, come up to the podium and limit their comments to 3 minutes. Okay. Departmental reports. Chief Bogenholm?
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor, Council. It's been a busy month. Been doing a lot of drug investigations. There's a lot of drug activity in the area. doing our best to get a handle on it and keep it out of town. Construction, had some reports of people not knowing how to use a roundabout, or going the wrong way on the roundabout, or not knowing when to yield. Hopefully that will help with the signage and when the lines get painted on. No accidents yet. Also have had some concern from county residents in the township on County Road 10 about the speed limit with the school. The county is aware of it, and I have talked to Bob Indahar about it also. We're working on a school zone speed limit. They are in the process of widening the road right now to make a safe turn lane. So that's something we're working on. Other than that, just a busy month. Summer's obviously winding down now, so but we really haven't had a whole lot of decrease in call volume, so still continue to be steady. So what do I have?
Any questions? Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you.
Good job of your crew, too. Pass that on, please.
Bill? Public
Mayor,
Works.
council, another busy month. Water department pumped 4 million gallons of drinking water, I'm sorry. The new tap for the new credit union next to the co-op is scheduled for Monday to beat the road construction, so we're not tearing up any new roads, sidewalks, curb, gutters, so on and so forth. We'll be flushing hydrants at the beginning of October. That'll be posted in the paper. Sewer department collected 14 million gallons of wastewater last month, and are in the middle of, we're right now in the middle of our September discharge of 35 million gallons of wastewater that's treated, that's getting released. Installed 260 feet of sidewalk at the hockey rink. Looks pretty good down there. Hats off to my crew. I know they worked hard. They're a good group of guys. So storm sewer system, the whole thing that the city owns has been televised and cleaned. That was a huge one for the city. That's never been touched, never been looked at. There was all sorts of stuff we found in there. I mean, everything. You name it, it was in there. Other than, well, yeah, there was a lot of stuff in there. Anyway, the rest of this month, we'll be working on water and sewer repairs on the Highway 73 project that are still coming up. And then we did last week started our second session of our sewer maintenance program. So we'll be out, and you've probably seen us out cleaning sewer and that kind of thing. That consists of 11,000 feet of pipe. So we're moving right along, and we're extremely busy. So that's all I got.
Thank you.
Thank you, Phil.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Great job, too, with the construction there, Phil, and your crew.
Mayor, council, the LRAP project, things are moving along. I think by this time next month, it's going to look really good. Once they get the underground pipe put in by the hospital, things should really start rolling. The next thing that they're going to go to is the muck excavation on Kenwood down in the low spot. The soil boring showed about 5 feet of black peat down in there, and that's why that road failed. And it kind of makes sense when you look both ways on that road that they built it on a wetland through there. So that all gets dug out, replaced, and then they'll get the road put back in. Next week, I think they'll be coming up to 3rd Street and starting in on that. So things will go pretty fast now. We haven't had any complaints, at least Tim hasn't forwarded me any complaints, so traffic seems to be finding their way through there. Was there any questions on the Kenwood or 3rd Street project?
Other than that second part that's on here is the 3rd Street and Elm.
Next part, when the application was done, we ended at the west side of Elm Street. Tim and Phil and I looked at it after the meeting, and we thought, what would it cost to go through the intersection to the east side of the intersection? We measured up the quantities that it would take, and we're estimating about $19,200 of additional quantity to reconstruct the intersection. The only thing we really don't have an answer for, I got to look at it a little bit harder, is is that puddle that occurs at the southeast quadrant of the intersection on Elm. We hadn't proposed to run pipe all the way up there, so we can make it better, but I can't make it disappear, I don't think. So,
Yeah, as far as I go, I mean, it'd be great if the puddle wasn't there. The intersection needs to get done. Intersections are always going to be the worst part of any construction project. So if you're already doing a construction project and people are already having to be impeded a little bit, you might as well go through the intersection. Not to mention, the intersection's just bad. It's potholes, it's bad. I know it wasn't included, this needs to get done.
Yep. Do you need a motion?
Yeah, so this will be different than what we have already approved. We will need a motion for this as far as where the money goes. We had a contingency in the original bid. I'm not saying that it's going to come out of that, but we did have a contingency in that fund. We did bond for including that contingency as well as just a little bit extra. Worst case scenario, this is the exact reason why we have our sales tax.
So this would be for this 19,290.97?
I think we might want to add the 10% of a contingency in there.
these are the what we measured, and I didn't put any contingency in it. Normally, I would suggest adding 10, and that would be the range that we'll be in to get that intersection redone. So right around 21,000.
I would say, let's just say 21,000 and
Okay.
call her good.
Is there a motion?
I so move that we do the intersection of Elm and 3rd Street for about $21,000.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Any discussion?
No, we need to keep on working on our roads. That's,
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any objection? Motion passes.
I had a question about Kenwood. Are you doing both, all the blacktopping this year, or are you saving one for next spring? Because you're going to be doing a lot of filling there. Is that going to change? You know what I'm getting at?
Will
Yep.
it settle?
Right. Are we going to put the wear down, the wear course bituminous down this year? The plan is yes.
Yeah.
So the biggest fill will be down at the low spot where we dig out the muck, and we'll have density tests taken on that. It's select granular boral that they're putting back in there, which is basically sand, and that's really good to compact. So normally if we had deep pipes, Mr. Councilman, I would suggest waiting till the following year to put the wear course down in case something's settled, but I don't anticipate any real settlement problems. The stuff,
How's Park Place to look?
that was different soils
looks pretty
altogether.
good.
And I wasn't here then either, so. But no, we'll get density tests on that. And Northland, I have to give them credit, they're doing an okay job out on Kenwood. Good crew, so.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Chamber of Commerce updates, Lois?
Yeah, it's been a very busy summer, as you know, with the chamber events, and things have gone well in spite of the construction. They've shut down like for the 4th of July and Agate Day, so that made it easy for people to get in and out of the city. July was our very busiest month, and the chamber is talking about changing some events to another month to take the burden off of the chamber people and all the volunteers. It was just too much. But this year we had many volunteers that came out that hadn't before. I don't know if it was because of Dusty's the chamber executive director, if it was his campaign to, get people to volunteer for 2 events a year, or just a good community spirit. But they came out and helped with a lot of the events, and that was just great. And of course, the city crew and police department and fire department were helpful, very helpful for a lot of the events, too. At Brewfest last Saturday, I wasn't there, but I heard it was successful. And the only thing now left is for a fundraiser is the raffle. The drawing for that will be on October 13th. And I have to really, you know, for personally, I'd like to recognize Dusty Wilson, the director of the chamber. He's just been great with all of his promotions and organization and getting people whipped up to help out and planning, and he's just done a fantastic job. Our next chamber meeting's tomorrow at the Chickadee in Barnum at noon. Are there any questions?
Where's the raffle drawing going to be held? Is
That's
it
going to be at the golf club.
at the golf club?
I'm not sure of the time, but it'll be announced.
Okay.
So it's usually in the evening.
Okay. Thank you, Lois.
Thank the chamber for all they do.
Yeah.
Good partner.
To previously discuss business, FEMA flood update.
Can I take this one off of here?
We're removing that?
Can I take it off?
Okay. Do we need a motion?
No, we don't need a motion, but if you guys are waiting for me to pull something out of my hat, I think that I don't think we're going to get anything out of there, and if we do, we can bring it back up, but I don't see anything coming from this one.
Okay.
I have no problem, but I would like to see you pull something out of your hat.
Okay, we'll remove FEMA flood update
Okay.
from previously discussed business. 2016 flood closeout.
This is the opposite. I am going to pull this one off of here because we did close this one out. All the projects got done. We've got reimbursed for everything that we did. Went really well. Homeland Security was a lot easier to work with than FEMA. It went pretty good. Yeah, we're all done.
Good. C, arena project updates.
The dehumidifier's in and pretty well done. The siding's obviously done. I saw Clarissa out there moving some dirt around today. We'll have, I think she said the 27th, the bushes and plants and trees and all that kind of stuff are coming, and we'll have all that stuff planted out there. And yes, the Public Works Department did a really good job on the sidewalks. All jokes aside, they did a really, really good job. They even included some stuff in there that was kind of above and beyond just pouring regular sidewalk. They did some stuff with the gutters that was pretty neat. They built some grates to go over the top of some other stuff. They did really good out there. So that's everything for the arena.
Yeah, it is really looking nice down there. D, Highway 73 updates.
The roundabout is just about done. Yes, the roundabout is kind of a pain in the butt to get around right now. Sometimes you go through a roundabout, sometimes you're detoured through a roundabout, sometimes there's flaggers, sometimes there's not. It's kind of a pain. It's getting closer. Arrowhead Lane, I think they were talking about paving next week. End of next week, so that they can flop traffic. Once they flop traffic on Arrowhead, it's 2, maybe 3 weeks, and they'll be paving the other side of Arrowhead. So the other side of Arrowhead Lane's not going to be nearly as long. Most of the storm system structures are all on the side that they're doing right now. So once they flop everything, it'll go pretty quick. Striping, it looks kind of like they're going to do all the striping at once rather than stripe a part of it. They might surprise me and go out there and stripe some stuff, but frankly, it just looks like they're waiting till the end to stripe the whole thing. Industrial row, or not industrial, I'm sorry. Sioux Hill looks, I'm not entirely sure what they've got left up there, why they still have it half on, half off.
Sidewalk.
Sidewalks? Okay. They were doing that stuff this week, right?
Okay.
Prepping, okay. So sidewalks should be going in there pretty quick, and then they can open all that back up. The whole thing, we've got 4 weeks left? I mean, we're just about done.
Great. Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Moose Lake City Township consolidation, any updates?
Yeah, financial advisors that we hired to take a look at consolidating and take a look at the rural taxing district. We're having a bit of a slow time getting some of the information from the township. But we will get it done here sooner or later. The study.
Okay. New business, copier lease for City Hall.
Yeah, this, we're not looking for a copier. Our copier works fine. This is basically the same model that we have, only a year or two newer. The only reason why it's on here is it's $23.49 a month cheaper. Same model, cheaper.
Do you want a motion?
I recommend that we enter into this lease.
Can I have a motion to accept the copier lease for the City Hall?
So moved.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Pass. Moose Lake Woodland Trails. Looks like that's on page
63.
63. City Administrator?
Yeah, so Byron, along with some other folks, are putting together these walking and biking trails. They put out a newspaper article as well asking for help naming the trails. They are also looking for people to help pay for the signs. But for tonight, what they are wondering is, this is the suggested name of all the different sections of the trails. So they wanted to make sure that we didn't have any issues with it before they moved forward. I don't know why we would, but if anybody has any questions about the names, I can pass it along. Otherwise, I'll give them the go-ahead.
Any
Sounds great.
concerns?
No.
Excellent job.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Pass it along,
Yeah,
please.
I will.
And then we come to the Moose Lake Power and Light easement.
This is an easement over by the school and by Shopco, just for their power lines. They need our approval to put in the utility easement.
Okay. So is there a,
Yeah, we need a motion for this one.
okay, like a motion to accept the power and light easement for, what would you call it? The
Just a 20-foot wide utility easement,
20-foot wide utility easement
as described with the legal description on page 64.
as described, the legal description on page
64.
What did you say?
I'll make that motion, what you just said.
Perfect.
I'll second that.
You have
All
that?
in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Then we have the curb stop repair on Industrial Road. It looks like we have two estimates, one from Global Excavating and Aggregate in the amount of $2,178, and another one from Land Logic in the amount of $2,300. Both are doing the exact same work?
Yep,
Okay.
yep.
Do we have a motion to accept either estimate for the repair on Industrial Road?
Global's cheaper. I'll make that motion to go with Global Excavating for $2,178.
Do I have a
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Global Excavating will receive that bid. Next, we have ATV insurance requirement within city limits.
This is an odd one. The mayor received a number of calls from a couple people and people that approached him wondering, with the changes with the county ordinances and the state, is it required for ATVs to have insurance within the city limits? Is there an ordinance? Is there anything like that? there is no ordinance and there is no law that requires somebody to have insurance on their ATV. So if they get into an accident, there's nothing that the city requires them to have for insurance. Many times, I think their homeowner's insurance covers it. A lot of people that have loans on their ATVs are required to insure them, but there is no city ordinance that requires them to do so.
So that was informational only?
Yep.
Okay. Park Board opening, Ross Stewart.
We have an opening. Last meeting, we had somebody leave. Ross Stewart came to the Park Board meeting and stated that he was interested, so the recommendation from the Park Board is to approve Ross Stewart to sit on the Park Board.
Do you have a motion to accept Ross Stewart for the Park Board opening?
I so move that we accept Ross Stewart.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Objection?
Thank you for serving there, Ross. That's nice.
Reports and correspondence. I don't see the Park Board meeting minutes.
68. Page 68.
Oh, I was just looking at them. Okay. Park Board minutes of September 11th, 2017. Announcements. Regular Moose Lake City Council meeting will be held Wednesday, October 11th at 6:30 here at City Hall. The Moose Lake Water and Light Commission regular meeting Wednesday, September 20th at 4 p.m. in the Moose Lake Conference Room. Moose Lake Housing and Redevelopment Authority Board, October 9th at 11 a.m. at Hillside Manor offices. Moose Lake Area Fire District will be held Tuesday, October 10th at 6:30 p.m. at the Emergency Response Center. Moose Lake Park Board meeting, Monday, October 2nd, 6:30 here in the City Council chamber. Library Board meeting, October 9th at 4 p.m. in the City Conference Room. And the Moose Lake Technology Committee will be held Thursday, October 5th at 9 a.m. in the City Conference Room. Any other comments?
Just that you did a wonderful job. You're much more efficient than Mayor Shaw.
Well,
That's a quote.
with that, is there a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Adjourn.
Nice job.